Hey guys, it's the Plant Doctor. What I want to go over today is how I did this. So we're going to look at how to propagate rosemary. These have been, I think I did these about 8 weeks ago now. So we're looking at roughly 50 days worth of growth, give or take. You can see the root ball on those right there. So I'm going to show you how we did this. So what I'm going to show you is a method here where we're going to use a plate to hold some water. I have a 4-inch potting cup here and then a water bottle. And it's really simple. So what you want to do is this. I have a rosemary bush here. It's really big, so I'm going to take my cuttings off camera, but I'm just going to take a terminal branch and let me hold this up. You want something that looks like that, okay? And all I'm going to do, these leaves on the bottom, I'm just going to pull those off. So I'm left with something like that. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to wound one side of that cutting. I'm going to expose the cambium layer. I'm just going to whittle it down just a smidge, nothing too extravagant. And what we're using here today is our rooting hormone, is a garden safe take root. It really doesn't matter what brand you use, you just need some rooting powder. You can get this at Lowe's, you can get this at Home Depot, any retail garden center should have this. I'm in the process of starting an Amazon store. I'm hoping by the time I post this, I'll have a link to where you can get this and you can help the channel out in that regard as well. But this is rooting powder. You can pick this up about anywhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pour a little bit of rooting powder into my lid. It doesn't take a lot. The reason I poured it into the lid, I don't like sticking cuttings in this, because if I have some sort of pathogen on my cuttings and then I go to propagate something else, I'm just spreading pathogens around. So what I do is I usually pour my powder into something else. I'm going to use the lid right here. And then once I'm done, I can always wash this lid off with some rubbing alcohol and clean it up. Okay, so we've got some rooting hormone on our cutting, okay? So all I'm going to do is take my finger and make a hole in our potting mix. The reason I don't just stick my cutting right down in there is because I'm going to knock off the powder as I push it through the mix. Once I have it in there, I'm just going to pack it in. Just like that. It's okay that it's leaning over to the side right now. That's not a big deal. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little greenhouse out of a water bottle. This is real easy. So all you want to do is take a pair of a knife, or if you've already got your pruning shears out, this is pretty easy to poke a hole in. And I'm just going to cut this bottom out of this bottle here, okay? It doesn't have to be real pretty. So I pulled it off, so just like that. My lid's on. I'm going to take my cutting, stick it in there, push that down into my potting mix so that it stays. And we're going to use the bottom up watering method here. So you can see here what we're working with. I've got a tray or a plate that holds water. This 4-inch pot is perforated, has drain holes in the bottom. So the mix that I'm using is just a potting mix with a lot of peat. All right, so you don't want anything that has a lot of pine bark in it. You're looking for something that has mainly peat in it. So any type of promix would work. There's some products that Miracle Grow makes that would work as well. But the main thing you're after is peat here, because this method It would probably work with pine bark, but not near as well because of the capillary action is just not going to get the water to the roots with pine bark like it will with peat moss. I'm going to fill this saucer up. And that's it. We're going to wait. Like I said, this will take maybe 6 or 8 weeks. We'll start seeing some decent roots on this. And where do I want to put this? You want to put this like in a south-facing window. So a lot of times when I propagate things behind me here, this is my screened in and it's windowed in patio area, and it faces south. I'll put things over in the corner right here. It gets morning sun, and then as the day passes on, it's in the shade in the afternoon. That's a perfect spot. If you have like an east or south facing window, stick that in there for 6 or 8 weeks and your rosemary is going to root. I did these a little bit differently, same concept. What I did was I just cut the bottom of a 1 gallon jug off, and I just set this whole 6-pack down in this plate and then put the gallon jug down on top of it, and all 6 of them rooted. I did 6 cuttings. I had all 6 roots. So with this method, I had 100% take rate on my cuttings. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor. It means a lot to us here on the channel that you would take time out of your day to watch. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the subscriptions we've had here on the channel. I hope this content brings a whole lot of success to your rooting endeavors with rosemary. And until next time, this is The Plant Doctor.